Are you looking for seller leads for your real estate business? That's exactly what we're going to cover in today's video. But before we get into that, this is a free real estate Facebook ads course. So this is a series of videos. The first part one of this was a buyer leads training. Part two is this video, seller leads training. Part three will be on mortgage leads so that you can kind of get two different avenues of buyer leads. And then part four will be messenger bots so that we can get more information from our leads, qualify them a little bit further, and actually book appointments with our leads. And then the last video will be on follow-up and building your brand, so that you can convert as many of those prospects as possible. So in this video, we're gonna talk about seller leads coming up. In this video, we're gonna talk about seller leads, specifically getting seller leads with Facebook advertising. We're gonna go over the targeting so that you actually target homeowners or likely homeowners. We're gonna talk about the ad copy, and then how do we get those people to click? And then how do we get those people to convert into an actual lead, right? We want them to actually enter their information, so their name, email, phone number, and we really want their address as well, right? And so we're gonna go through all of that A to Z in the computer. But before we dive in, if you could just give me a subscribe, that is what I'm doing here. All I wanna do is help you go further faster with digital marketing. And I help real estate agents, mortgage loan officers, just like you with their digital marketing. So if you would hit the subscribe button, click the notification bell so that you get notified when I upload new videos. Comment down below. I answer every single comment. I really just want to help you guys grow your business. So seller leads, we're gonna dive into my computer here so that I can show you A to Z exactly what to do. So first and foremost, what we need to do is click on the special ad category. This is a housing related opportunity, so we wanna be in compliance with whatever Facebook is making us do, right? So we're gonna choose housing here. The next thing we need to do is decide on an objective. And first of all, we're going to do two ads today. The first ad is going to be more of a move down buyer or seller, if you will. And then the second ad is going to be more of your traditional home value style ad. So just want to give you two different angles here, just like I did in the buyer leads training. Okay, so the next thing we need to do is choose an objective. Right, so there are three options for you here. Obviously, there are more. Typically, what we want to do is use conversions. If you have a really solid landing page that you already use for your seller leads, you can use that, choose conversions, and then we can go from there. The next option would be a messenger specific ad. So if you've got a really good messenger bot specifically for downsized home buyers or downsized sellers, you can choose the messenger objective. We are going to choose lead generation because we can kind of customize that on the fly. And again, it's just the easiest option if you're new to Facebook ads. So we're going to choose lead generation here. We are going to choose the campaign budget optimization, which just allows us to schedule out. We're going to do $15 a day. We're going to call this move down seller and then the objective, right? So if you didn't watch the previous video, this is how I format everything. So we choose lead form, which is the objective, and then you're going to do the date, right? And then bracket that out. And then we are going to copy this, and we are going to continue. At the ad set level is where we are going to do the placements. We're going to choose our audience and things of that nature. So I usually call this whatever our campaign was, and then add in our targeting, right? So we're going to try our best to do homeowners. And we'll get to that in a second. So we're going to scroll down here. I'm just going to choose a random location. I'm from Indiana, so we'll choose Kokomo, Indiana, and just see what our numbers look like, right? So if you are familiar with special ad category, we can't do anything less than a 15-mile radius. So we're going to do a 15-mile radius of Kokomo, which is actually not bad. We're going to choose people who live in or surrounding that area. So we're at about 67,000 people here. So that's actually, a decent size audience. So what I would do is I would test a broad audience versus getting a little bit more into the weeds of what we're going to show you here. So the detailed targeting that we can use with special ad category is interests, right? That's all we can use. We can't use behaviors or demographics or anything of that nature with the special ad category. And so what we can do here to try our best to go out and get more homeowners is to target things that homeowners would be interested in, right? So that could be, home improvement, it could be home renovation, it could be home appliances, things of that nature, right? So the first thing we're going to choose here is home improvement. And then I would do suggested, and then you can go down the rabbit hole there. So renovation, home repair, interior design sometimes works, but that's also kind of wishy-washy. You could do for sale by owner, obviously. And as you click these, they're going to populate new things, which usually means that, like we just clicked on for sale by owner, that usually means that they're also interested in Trulia, Zillow, whatever came up here, right? So we're going to leave it at that and just see what happens. The best thing that you can do is just kind of get a broader audience, let Facebook do its thing with the algorithm, see who's clicking on it, see who are becoming leads, and see what conversations we're having and what our key performance indicators look like on the back end, right? So I would test this versus a wide open audience. Then from here, we're going to go down to placements. We're going to edit these. We are just going to do Facebook ads, and we are just going to do the Facebook newsfeed and the marketplace feed, right? So those are only two. If you wanted to market on Instagram stories, I would suggest just doing an Instagram ad versus the Facebook ad, because what tends to happen is if you lump all of these together, what's going to happen is Facebook is going to choose the one that's getting the cheapest clicks, the cheapest leads, and it's just going to place all of your ads on that placement, right? So what you want to do is test Instagram versus Facebook and just see what your numbers look like, see if you're getting a cheaper cost, but also are you getting more conversations from that. So for this video, we're just going to do Facebook newsfeed and marketplace. And then to scroll down here, one thing that I do with seller leads is I do just iOS devices. The reason being is that demographic is typically a little bit higher end. Not to say that everybody who has an iPhone or iOS devices or uses Apple has more income. I'm not trying to discriminate based around that. But what we've seen is that's pretty much the case, right? And you could do OS versions, right? So you can go all the way and just do people with the absolute newest. I usually do 5 and above, right? And then another thing that you can do is only when connected to Wi-Fi, which is essentially somebody sitting at their home, right? They're usually, or like in a Starbucks or something in an environment where they're not super rushed, right? So that's another thing that you can test there. The problem with doing a lot of that in a rural area would be you've got 13,000 people, which is not a lot, right? So when you dial in this, it dials in this, which eliminates a lot of our audience. Versus if you were to do like a Frisco, Texas, right? Let's do Frisco and get this out of here. Excuse me. This would be a great audience because you're at about 210,000 versus Kokomo. You're at a fewer amount of people, which hurts your reach, right? So we're going to go back there. So for Kokomo, for instance, for all of you more rural people, I would go back and just do all devices. Right, so all mobile, you're at 25. That's with Wi-Fi. Take that out, and you're still at 25. You just see what that looks like. So I would do a lot of that testing, see what 25,000 versus 13,000 versus taking all of these out. So versus 61,000, and just see what your numbers look like, see what your cost per acquisition, cost per appointment, all of those things look like. Okay, so that is audience and placements. Moving on to the actual ad here. So this is the ad level. So this is where we're actually going to go and create our ad. So this is move down seller, and we are going to do ad copy 1, picture 1. I usually just do pick. Okay, so that allows you to know if you're going to your ad and you're testing multiple ad copies, you would have ad copy 1, ad copy 2, pick one, right? So you're testing the ad copy and you just have all of that squared away. Okay, so I would just come in here and choose a house that is very similar to homes in your area, right? So I would come in here, add image, and we're just going to choose one we already have. Ideally, you'd want it to be a downsize or like a community, right? A community style home. I'm just going to choose this one just because I want to make this quick. So this is obviously a home in Florida. We're marketing in Kokomo. That's kind of incongruent, but I would choose a home that's like a home in Kokomo, and then we would go from there, right? So what I would do here is type this in. I would just say ready to downsize, and I would use an emoji instead of a question mark because Facebook is trying to eliminate a lot of questions. So we are going to choose that guy. Copy that in there, and there's your question, right? Ready to downsize, question mark, Kokomo. Homeowners are getting top dollar for their existing homes and moving to, right? So moving to single-story homes or active adult communities. Whatever your lingo is in your market and whatever you have available for these people, that's what you're going to use here, right? So in Kokomo, there might not be a ton of active adult communities versus, Utah, there are a bunch of active adult communities. In Florida, there are a bunch of adult communities. So you would use single-story homes here. This is another option, right? But we're just going to stick with active adult communities. We're going to say, hey, tap below to get access to a free weekly list of all homes for sale in specific communities. So if you had a specific active adult community, you would choose that, or you could do a specific single family home neighborhood like ranch style homes, whatever it would be, right? For now, we're just going to do Kokomo and surrounding area, right? And the headline would be whatever that is, right? So it could be an active adult community. It could be whatever, right? So for this, we're actually going to do single-story homes because I know Kokomo doesn't have a whole lot. Okay, so that's going to be our ad right there. So ready to downsize, question mark. Kokomo homeowners are getting top dollar for their existing homes and moving to single-story homes. Tap below to get instant access to a free weekly list of all homes for sale in Kokomo and surrounding areas. And I would just come in here and put single-story homes. Okay, so that's the ad. It's as simple as that. If you have any questions, comment down below. Happy to help. In the lead form, what we're going to do is duplicate this. So we have this. We're going to say ready to downsize. We're going to go to settings, make sure this is open, come back to content, go to questions. This is going to be our headline. So get instant access to a weekly list in Kokomo by providing your info below, right? So this is a buyer leads campaign. However, obviously, if they're looking to downsize from a home they're currently in, they're looking to sell, right? So this is a way for you to kind of double dip, right? You got a buyer and a seller out of the same exact lead. So it's basically 2x your ROI, which is pretty cool. And so we're going to do first name, last name, email, phone number, and leave it at that. On the thank you page is typically when we add in our messenger bot. So in part 4 of this series, we talk about messenger bots. We're going to go over buyer leads messenger bots, seller leads messenger bots, mortgage specific messenger bots, and how to ask questions, how to make those, and get those people into appointments. So if you haven't watched that video, I will link that in the cards as well as the description below. The next ad we want to talk about is a simple home value ad. So you've probably seen a bunch of these. It's the staple, right? So in the primary text here, and we're not going to go into the targeting because I already did that for homeowners. So This is just the actual ad creation portion. So all we're going to do is you want to call out the area that you're targeting, right? So you want to say, hey, hey Frisco homeowners, hey Kokomo homeowners, hey Denver homeowners, whatever it would be, right? Attention is one that people use, right? So hey Denver homeowners, and it would look something like that, right? And I would put emojis, something like this. Or we could just do Denver homeowners, right? Or whatever it would be. And then on the next part, we're going to say planning to move in 2020. And then again, we're going to use a question mark because Facebook doesn't love questions at the moment. Whoa, sorry. Leave that there. And then boom. Get your home value assessed in, or like right here, you would basically, you want to have a quick timeline, right? So get your home value assessed in 60 seconds, 30 seconds. If you've got a tool for that, a lot of people have landing pages for that. You would use a conversions objective here and send them to a landing page. I'm going to show you how to do that within lead forms. The problem with that is it's not instant, right? So you're not going to get instant home value. In the Messenger Bots series, a video that I'm doing is going to be a messenger ad. It's going to take them in and get an instant home eval. So watch that video and I'll explain how that works. But in this, it's not necessarily instant, right? So get your home value assessed, but you want to add value here, right? By an expert real estate professional. Right, this is what some people aren't doing, right? There are a lot of components that go into getting a home evaluation. A lot of people are just generating randomness from Zillow or whatever, right? So we'll just do tap, learn more below, and we'll send you your home value there. Right here, I want to make sure they see this, so we are going to do an arrow. I can do that one, and then in the headline, we're going to say, get your home value assessed by an expert. Right, and then here, we're just going to choose learn more for our call to action. That's going to send them to a lead form. So that's our ad, right? So Denver homeowners planning to move in 2020. Get your home value, get home value assessed by an expert real estate professional. Tap learn more below and we'll send you your home value. Headline, get your home value assessed by an expert, right? And there, they're going to click on this and they're going to see this lead form. So we're going to do home value. Again, you want to go to settings, make sure this is open, come back to content, questions. What we're going to do is get your home value assessed by a real estate expert by providing your info below. Here, what we want to do is have their first name, last name, email, phone number, but we also want to have their address, right? So we're going to add a new question. From here, this is going to be a short answer. Enter your home address here. All right, so that's a little bit less creepy, right? What you can also do is come in here and do street address, and it can auto-populate if they've already done something. So that's something to test. But at the end of the day, you want people to know what they're entering in, right? And you want it to be accurate. And so I would test doing first name, last name, email, phone number, enter their home address with a custom field versus adding their street address from their contact information. And then I would test putting this first, right? So putting this very first at the top versus all the way at the bottom. If you're doing the custom question, you'll want to always have this first. If you're doing the street address from their contact info, you want to test first versus last. and just see what happens there. Then again, on the thank you screen, we're going to take them to a messenger bot to get an instant home evaluation from Facebook Messenger. So that is seller leads on Facebook. Showed you a couple different ways to generate seller leads. So if you guys have any questions, comment down below. Again, I answer every single comment. My only goal on this channel is to help you grow and to help you go further faster with online marketing. So comment down below. Love to hear your guys' thoughts, answer your questions. If you would, hit the subscribe button, click the notification bell. I upload new videos every single week to help you go further faster with digital marketing. And I look forward to seeing you guys in the next video.